you can.
Is it?
Just straight vodka, all of it.
Oh, I thought you had to mix it with water. That's straight vodka. Pass it over here.
No, it's just water.
I'm not putting a kitchen in the back of my Jeep for overlanding. I'm putting a bar in.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds
There you
great.
go. There you
Some party lights.
go. All right, who is it? Looks like we're live here at the Jeep Life podcast. It's been a hot minute, and we're glad to be here. At least I think we're live. We have no indication
go.
because nobody showed up.
Why can't I hear me?
I don't know.
I can hear you guys, but I can't hear me.
Unfortunately, there is a service going on right now.
What's up, Mark? We got somebody's on.
It's me. Sorry.
So you can't hear you, Don?
No, I can't hear me. I can hear you guys.
How's that possible?
I don't know.
Is his headphones turned down
No,
or off?
I hear you guys on the headphones, but I don't hear me. Are you sure my level's not low?
No, you're fine.
Are you plugged in all the way in the back? Is something not plugged in over there?
I don't know.
Row. Is that it?
Yeah, it's better.
Now can you hear yourself?
A little bit. Not that I
Alright.
wanted to, but
Yeah, I didn't change anything. All I did was actually start recording.
Oh.
I don't know either.
Oh.
All
Move
right.
the mic a little bit. Make a difference.
All right, let's get started talking to everybody. Hey, Mark, what's happening? Yo, Ashley. The man of the year, Troy. What's happening? Everybody, I started at 75% when Don picked me up. When I got here, we were about 70%. Now about 67%. Maybe finishing this water and Gatorade will help out a little bit. So I'll try to bring the energy when we hit record.
Sounds good to me.
Troy at work. You're not the only person listening to us at work. I like that.
Hey, Troy. It's good talking to you.
Troy's good people.
Did you buy that RV?
All right, this is exciting. Yeah, well, I guarantee you we're going to have a good show, I promise.
Yes.
But right now we're just all a little,
You jinxed it.
I know.
I'm tired. All right. He did not buy the RV. All right.
I feel like at some point in the near future we probably should do some studio work and fix up the studio and make sure the camera's always in a good place. Because right now I feel like it's out of whack a little bit.
We have 872 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
What's the magic number?
1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours.
How many hours? How close are we to the hours?
The hours are where we're falling short.
I'm just going to start watching every night when I go to bed and just let it.
2,697.
Somebody needs to do more stupid shit. That's what it boils down
I'm
to.
working on it.
Yeah.
You need to come up with original stupid shit. Too many people breaking parts. Like, I don't know, you need to lose an arm or something.
Yeah.
Break it Billy style.
Yeah. And then we'll get you a hook, and you can do crazy things with the hook.
I would like to keep my hand.
I don't know. I'm just saying. You want to get
Do
paid
you,
from
do,
Utah?
do you
right.
really do you really want to get the views? Just, come on.
Seriously.
What's your commitment here?
Where's your priorities?
Yeah. Your commitment level is really low here.
My hand.
Just the right one.
Right. You've got another one.
Right. You know we love you. This is just strictly business.
It's strictly business.
Right.
And we drew straws on the way over here.
I didn't draw one. You
There you go. That's why you
exactly. That's
lose.
why you got 2 long ones.
I like that. 2 long ones.
Yeah.
That's good. Nice hat. I do like that cold case hat.
It is a nice hat. When Dave handed it to me, he said it's gonna be your new favorite.
He was right.
And he was right.
Yeah.
That's a good looking
What's
hat.
it say on the brim, like on the
Cooled by cold case or something like that? I don't know.
Cold.
You're gonna have to look, Billy, 'cause my eyesight's way too fucked
It
up.
says cold case radiators
Nice.
Oh,
across
right.
the front.
I want to get some new Jeep
in
life
the
hats.
light blue. I do too.
Flat brim. We're gonna do
Flat
flat brim.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Breakabilly t-shirts.
All right. So before we get going, I am I want to rebrand us a little bit. We've had this logo and everything and branding for almost 4 years now.
Right.
It was drawn on a paper napkin, and I think it's time for us to get a little more professional.
Okay.
Professional.
So I'm looking at some graphic artists out there. I've already talked to one, and if he can work it in, he's going to work it in. If not, anybody knows anybody that's a graphic artist that likes to work for really no money at all.
I gave you a whole bunch of them. Remember that? They were on napkins.
Yeah, yeah.
We were camping.
Oh yeah, right. Hey Danny, we're gonna be there.
So
We're working that out.
actually, we should work up. We're gonna post a location where we're gonna be for like an hour
Yeah.
each day.
So here
Oh.
comes the bad news. I think I'm bailing on it so I can make the AOA weekend.
Oh,
Don, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I
It's
get
okay.
it.
There's
Yeah.
It's okay.
there's not one person
Not-
that
that's
counted
just-
on you being.
Yeah, right.
anywhere. If you show up, it's
If
gravy.
you showed up,
Bonus. If not, screw it.
if you got
Whatever.
into somebody's passenger seat the day we were leaving, we're gonna be like, glad to have you, man.
Yeah.
I
If
love it.
not, we weren't gonna be
I
disappointed.
love it.
Yeah.
That is the MO I've been looking for.
We were not gonna be disappointed.
Unremarkable Dawn is.
We're gonna
I
miss
changed
you.
it again.
Did you change it again?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But after my overlanding weekend.
all right. I can't wait. I can't wait to
Right.
hear it. There's no.
No.
save it
I'm
for
gonna
the
wait.
show.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
We're gonna
Oh God damn it! Leg cramp. Son of a fuck.
We're gonna
Is
miss
that
you.
the new name?
No.
Like cram it, damn it, son.
Hell. Oh. All right, it's going away. They're the worst when you get them like on your quad.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sucks.
Oh, yeah, I had one the other night, and I thought
When
I
you get
was
them
gonna
like when you're sleeping.
die. Yeah,
Oh God.
because you don't know which way is up. and you're
No,
trying
you
to-
just wake up. You're in pain. You're like,
You-
shit. I can't even get to the fridge to get a beer.
No. Peter, that's a lot of words. I can't read all those damn
Hey
words.
guys, long time no see. I recently been itching to keep
Itching.
camping for a night or two here and there. Did you guys do an overland camping episode? Calm the fuck down, Peter. We're doing that tonight a little bit. Fucking Peter.
Peter, make a new video, dude.
What? Me?
Peter, just
Peter.
tell him Peter to make a new video.
Did you
Oh,
get
well.
content, by the
A
way?
little bit. Not a whole lot 'cause I was working.
Enough we can throw something together?
I can do something on. I don't have enough video.
Oh,
But we were like really busy at the power tank.
gotcha.
All right, everybody, share this out.
Share.
Share.
But as I was saying, yes, we should come up with, posting a location where we're going to be for like an hour each day. If
Yeah.
you want to swing by, say hi,
Get a selfie.
talk to us.
All right, so Peter, why they're sharing that out in all seriousness, Gazelle Tents, they have a T4 that sleeps 6 people.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's a little bit big to pack, but they go up in like 90 seconds and down in 90 seconds. I did a little bit of time in a rooftop tent, not totally ruling it out, but I will tell you this, there's very little room in them.
Yeah.
So,
Rooftops?
yeah. So
Even the big ones?
there's not a whole lot of room. You can't
No.
stand up in them, and so the Gazelle tents are nice. The plus is you can leave them behind. Like if you're out wheeling, like you do a overnighter at AOAA, you don't have to fold your tent up and unpack it.
I
you
would
know.
say this, but just putting kids in a rooftop, probably a bad idea. But I would say a rooftop for the kids, and then you get the like SUV tent off the back of the Jeep.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty cool setup.
So what I think I'm gonna do is, I think like I have a big Coleman. I have a 4-person Coleman that I use
Mhm.
this weekend, and it's fine. It just takes
Yep.
a little longer to put up, and
Yep.
Sarah and I did great in it. But I think I'm gonna get a Gazelle T4, and then I'm also gonna get. I'm gonna look for something that I can attach to the Jeep, and that'll go over the tent as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, if
Oh,
I'm
like a
cooking
giant
or
tarp type
something that
Deal.
I might pay somebody to put a zipper in it that works with the back of the soft top, so I could zip it in.
Oh yeah.
Might have an idea for you.
Yeah.
We might be working on something.
Okay. All right. So that would be like the setup, but I'm not
Mhm.
doing. I seriously don't think I'm doing a.
Yeah.
Wasn't I the so, and kudos to Quadratec. It was a Quadratec rooftop tent. And
Why don't you do a Ocean Oasis and the
Oh,
Coleman
yeah.
tent,
Yeah, I might. I don't know.
and you can strap it to each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool idea.
That's
That
the
would
company
be.
that we met in.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, Peter, that's what I would go. Coleman,
Yeah.
some Coleman stoves.
We've talked about this before, but that my problem with like a rooftop tent for a Jeep is you have to put it up and down
to go and wheel.
to go wheel, right? And
Right.
you got to take it with you. I want something I can leave there,
Yeah.
like a camp trailer
Right,
with a
right.
rooftop tent on it, or
I
Well,
don't-
we talked to some people out at Jeep All Breeds that we're gonna have on
yeah,
tent tracks. They're
oh, yeah,
called.
yeah, it was real nice.
what are they-
It's like a fiberglass tub rooftop tent style
I kinda
thing.
I think I saw that. I think Bleep and Jeep did something on
Yeah.
that.
So we're
I'm,
gonna get-
I'm out of. I did the trailer thing. I know my trailer was huge, and but I'm not doing that anymore. Like I think I'm gonna hold on to it for when we do like family camping.
Yeah.
But the overland thing, I'm gonna build a bar in the back, and
Yeah.
The lightweight trailers are really nice.
Keith,
Some
show
of 'em.
topic: wheel back spacing, offset tire, and wheel size. Didn't we?
we did that.
We
yeah,
did an
it was,
episode.
it was
So
year one.
yeah, so make sure to check our backlog of that.
When do we start repeating topics?
Year 7.
No, I think we're pretty close.
Matter of fact,
like-
we'll just fucking
Or not just repeating, but like elaborating on
well,
things.
so we
Yeah.
did that with shocks. I mean,
Yeah.
shocks we
Yeah,
kind
we've
of
been doing that, yeah.
elaborated on, but so yeah, and then Pete, if you get into Jeep camping where I sleep in the back with seats down, just like an air mattress in the trunk.
like a
That's
like a
Jeep
deep
sleep.
yeah,
Jeep
or
sleep. Yeah,
Jeep-
you
those
can
are
do
nice.
that, but
Yeah.
not going to get everybody in there, the kids and your wife.
well,
Kids up in the floorboard in the front seat.
sausage fest. The Jeep sausage.
All right, what?
Time to move on.
Let's hit that go button. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Jeep Life podcast. We're that podcast where we celebrate that Jeep life and everything that has to do with it. I am Jeep and Terry.
Break it, Billy.
Vagabond, Don.
Did you say Bonton Don?
No, vagabond, like
Like a
homeless.
vagabond.
Yeah,
Oh,
Like a
okay.
vagabond.
homeless.
Unremarkable Don was
Right over my head.
retired.
We're
one
done with
weekend.
that.
One
We're-
weekend.
We're done with that.
We're done with that.
Now it's
Yeah.
homeless Don.
Send you off on a story task, and this is
Yeah,
what
man,
comes back.
This is it. So listen, Peter, to I've done the Jeep sleep thing a lot, and it's not great either. So I really think the best way to do it is you ask. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be up front. Is a good tent.
Yep.
So it's been a while, a hot minute. Thanks for answering that previous question. But it's been a hot minute since we've all been in the studio together.
Yeah, it seriously has been.
We've been busy.
We've been real busy.
Yeah.
We're still busy.
We got to get some.
Lots of events, lots of things going on.
We need to like straighten out our priorities.
And we haven't done anything together in a cool way. So
No, I know.
I'm kind of pissed about
that's
it.
kind of why I'm banking for the AOA weekend, just doing the whole thing.
All right.
Just talking to Neil, he needs a gunner.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
All right.
It's a weekend after my birthday.
I like it.
If I get the right amount of people, we may do something at the Mammoth.
Yeah.
I gotta put that out there.
Well, good luck with that.
Yep. Neil and I will bring our group by to see you repairing something.
So, maybe.
Well, I have done nothing at all with my Jeep.
Yep.
So I can't. Our
Sorry,
catch-up-
buddy.
No.
Neither have I.
Let's rephrase this. Don hasn't done
Don
anything
hasn't
at
done.
all.
I
Done.
pulled it in the shop and it's been sitting there since.
Well,
Yeah, it's
you've been
funny because you
busy.
did take a nice picture. So proud of it being
Yeah.
in the shop, and
Yeah.
well,
And it sat there since.
Yeah.
been collecting dust and crickets.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that. By the way.
The dust and crickets.
Yeah, it needs to come
You're ready for it.
ready.
Well, you'll have it back tomorrow night.
I really, really, really enjoyed my my time. I was away doing band type stuff.
Who's at band camp?
Yeah, I was one time
What
at
happens
band
at
camp.
band camp?
Yeah, we
One time at band camp.
The one time at band camp?
I taught drum and bugle corps and just had a great time with kids, teaching them and doing non-Jeep things
Yeah,
whatsoever.
man.
It was awesome. Now I'm back in the Jeep world, and I can't wait to get mine back in my hands
Hit it hard.
and hit it hard. Yeah, because we've got some upcoming stuff.
Yes,
we
we
got
do.
a lot of stuff coming up.
Yes,
I
yes,
worked
we
on
do.
mine instead of his. That's what happened.
Yeah,
Spent
well.
one night working on mine. I was like,
Mhm.
you know what?
I'm
That was
right
actually
back
the day
at
you
ya.
were there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you spent time working on his instead of mine.
He was actually on the list before you. He's been
Yeah.
asking for a month,
Yeah.
if not more.
I was patient. I was like, hey, Don, can I get my tires melted?
We
My
tell
t-
you,
my
was any of
Speaking
that
of which-
content worth anything?
Yeah,
Was
I think
it?
so.
Okay, you gonna
Yeah.
make a video?
I got to go through it. I'm like
Okay.
6 videos behind right now.
All right.
Speaking of which, those wheels and tires look badass on your Jeep.
They look good.
Seriously, do.
They change the
look
look
real
of your
good. Yeah.
vehicle a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those wheels.
One of the guys at work was like, yeah, I saw your Jeep and, it was looking like a rust bucket. I was like, thanks, man. He was like, it looks really good now.
It
I was
does.
like, thanks.
Well, I was just saying to Scott the other day, like the new XJ is the JKs, like the first generation of JK. They're starting to
Right,
look
right, right.
rough, the early ones.
Yeah.
Seen one the other day, like straight out of Compton.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna go with
Yeah.
something else, but
Yeah. Rusty Busty is,
yeah.
living up to its name.
For real. For real. Don, you went on assignment,
Yes, I did.
and you went to the Mid-Atlantic Overland Festival.
Yes, I did.
That's
Sounds
a lot of
far
letters, a lot of
away.
words.
It was in Huntington, PA. On
In a land far away.
it was on a
in
it was a private
dusty rolling hills.
private venue. But probably one of the coolest weekends I've had in a long time.
Cool.
And I was teetering back and forth and how much I really wanted to get into overlanding until I got up there and started talking to some people and looking at some rigs and listening to some stories. And so I actually, jokingly I keep saying I'm going to build a bar in the back of it instead of a kitchen, but I think I'm going to start putting in stuff to make life a little more comfortable on the road. I'm at a great point
Sure.
in my life that I can do that, get it ready, and
I
next
think you
year.
need a goose gear.
I don't want to do a goose gear, and I'll be honest with you up there. No, everybody does custom stuff. Like most of the stuff that was up there was custom done. So they're using, I think it's called, it's aluminum 8025 or 8020 or something. They're like
Mhm.
this. They look like erector sets,
Yep.
and then you're cutting pieces to make. Because everybody has different needs.
Mhm.
Like I seriously probably. I need a good sized fridge in there because I'm gonna have. There's gonna be times when I'm gonna have kids with me, and,
Right.
So But anyway, nonetheless, really cool. It's hosted by Mainline Overland.
Those are good people.
They are. I met some of their employees.
Yep.
I didn't.
I
didn't meet them
I've worked with them a couple
directly.
times.
Yeah, but just to be able to put that show on and host that, cool in its own. And they did a lot of cool things. Like, they had a lot of classes. I saw there was a first aid class, there was a trail recovery class. Scott Ammerman from Go Fox Adventures and Ron Harrington from Ridgeback Guide Services did sort of a trail repair with the power tank stuff. Scott had the power tank booth up. Tread Lightly, both Scott and Ron did a lot of Tread Lightly classes. In fact, they were the keynote speakers Friday night for representing Tread Lightly. So
Cool.
And I hung out and watched that, and they did a great job. They tons of vendors, like I said, Power Tank, Ridgeback Guide Services, Dometic was there, Purple Lizard Maps, and if you're on the East Coast, those are the best maps you can get. I have a couple of them. I know Neil was there and picked up a couple. Rhino Rack was there, of course, Tread Lightly, James Bird Tents. There was a lot of others, but those were the big names. So
I love my Rhino Rack.
It was cool. They had, and I didn't get to do it, I think would have been one of the coolest thing, Adventure Film Fest. So, a lot of, like, overlanders will cut videos. They're cutting videos left and right of their adventures, and so this was your chance to put your adventure up, and everybody, they had an outdoor theater.
Oh, cool.
Like, just, you know what I mean? So, like, I wish I would have been able to do that. So they had like a difficult green, maybe low blue rock course set up, where they do a contest, and you get a spotter. You have to pick your spotter, and you have your vehicle, and you go down through this. It's maybe couple 100 feet long, and you can't go outside the red lines that are painted on the ground. There's a whole bunch of rocks, and the cool thing is the rocks are they're not plain in the ground, so a lot of times they move, so you get a point for every tire you put on a rock. But if you go out of bounds, you lose points, and it was pretty cool. So lots of good stuff. They had trail rides around the property. They did a Vista cleanup Thursday. I wasn't there I didn't get up there till later, but on, I don't know if it was Bald I think it was Bald Eagle, they did the Vista cleanup. So lots of great things. I got up there 11 o'clock Thursday night. I left I had my kids, and then dropped them off and kind of threw everything in the Jeep and left.
So how far was the drive?
162 miles.
Okay.
I set the cruise at 70 miles an hour. I was telling you on the way over here, I got 19 and a half miles to the gallon in it.
Jeez.
That's freaking awesome.
That is incredible. So, I keep going back and forth to get 37s and re-gear to 456s.
Yeah.
Not after that, I don't think.
Right.
That was so easy on the wallet. I don't know that it'd be worth the money. We hung out, everybody just kind of hung out, and we talked and met a couple people from Vermont. And then Friday I spent the day, got up early, had breakfast, spent the day just trying to help Scott cover the booth when he was doing classes.
Yep.
Power Tank did phenomenal up there. A lot of people really into this stuff. I feel like, I say Scott did the majority of it, but we were able to educate people on Power Tank stuff and put it in their hands and get people to use it. Met a great couple, Chris and Angela. They're in their first Jeep. It's a Gladiator. It's
fun.
A 2022 Gladiator Rubicon. It's on 37s. Looked like what was it, Clayton? Did I see Clayton? No, Terraflex suspension. I'm trying to remember. I looked at the control arms.
Yeah,
anyway, they outfitted it with. It had a rack and a rooftop tent.
Alpine arms.
I don't know. I didn't look at it that close. But brand new to the hobby, planning some major trips. So it was cool to be able to teach them about the Power Tank, and then because they're both new at it, his wife wasn't. He wanted to do the course, but she wasn't comfortable spotting him. So I took him on the course. I was his spotter. Taught him a little bit about I love getting new people and just teaching them all about it, and you know, very very capable, very calm. He was, you know, very very just confident, and his wife walked the course with me, and she learned how to spot, and it was, like I said, they were doing that for the competition. For us, for the three of us, it was about him getting his feet wet.
Time.
Yep. So for the first time, so that was cool. And you know, Ridgeback Guide Services was the one that designed the course, and he did a phenomenal job. You know, they had all the right size rocks and a hairpin turn in the beginning, which made it super difficult. You know, because you couldn't go over the red lines. And then pretty much, you know, the evening Friday night was we just, of course, Scott was up there, and he's like a gourmet chef, so we ate.
Did he bring cheese?
He always brings cheese.
He didn't bring cheese to Jeep All Breeds, and I was pissed.
Yeah.
He had no cheese.
Well, Bethany from Ridgeback Guide Services brought cheese, but I didn't have any. But Scott did make great Spetzel, and we had some hot chocolate that he made, and trying to think what else we did. We had all kinds of stuff going on, but it was a nice night. Everybody just kind of hung out, and everybody's tired, so we kind of went to bed early.
Yep.
Coolest part for me was Sarah went up, and she had a great time. You know, she was really skittish at first, but lots of great people up there that took their time with her, and by the end of the night, she was roaming around. She was pack roaming with other dogs. You know, the unwritten rule is that you don't leash your dog unless your dog's out of control. You got a great dog, the dog just roams, and like these dogs would just roam and scavenge, and you know, it was cool. And then Friday night, it was like 3 a.m, and Sarah gets me up, and I'm like, what the hell's the deal? And I listen, and there's coyotes howling.
Oh.
Not the first time I've heard coyotes, but I will tell you this. The entire festival, like every dog with the exception of Jesse and Sarah, I think started howling and barking. It was just, it was pretty cool to hear, you know. So, but I would, Saturday I packed up and left pretty early in the morning. But I would highly, highly recommend this to anybody that has any interest in vehicle-based adventure. Like, it, you know, so Peter Torres, you're talking about doing more of that. I think you need to head out there. You'll learn a ton. There's a ton of great people. People are great. They'll take you on tours of the rigs. You get all kinds of different ideas, and it was really rejuvenating for me. It's the first thing that I've really been out and have done since Northwest Jeepcast.
Yep.
So,
well, to that point, a great way to also kind of get into the overlanding gig is to go out with Ridgeback Guide Service,
110%,
and Go Fox Adventures, and do one of their events together,
110%.
Because there's so much knowledge there, and you said something about Ron putting the course together. Ron's a hell of a spotter too.
Yeah, Ron, you know, there's
he'll get you through anything.
Yeah. Ron is, you know, when people come up and they were new to the hobby, lifestyle, however, whatever you want to say, you know, and they were asking questions and stuff, my answer to them was, and I've been doing this for 20 years, I'm more than confident in my ability, but it's still go see Ron, you know, or we would say if you're in the AOA area, Roush Creek area,
go see Kyle.
Go see Kyle, right. So they're both of those guys are professionals. I mean, top-notch professionals, and
Kyle tends to be, you know, at one of the major parks, you know, and he'll teach the classes on that. Where Ron is more, let's go to this destination and learn here.
Right.
You know, so I think there's two different avenues there.
Right.
Kyle is more for the off-roading world, and Ron is more for the overlanding world.
Right.
But you can't go wrong with either one.
And Ron's gonna be on shortly enough. I mean, we've you know, it's been a long time, but yeah, and I spent some time with Ron Harrington and his wife Bethany, both great people. I mean, they hosted a large part of that festival. Yeah. You know, so you know, just great positive people. You know.
Yeah, for real. Well, I'm glad you got to go and hang out.
Absolutely. Oh, it was just an absolute great time.
And thanks for doing that for us and being a representative
Yeah.
for us. I know you handed out stickers.
Talked to some people. I did post a little bit. I was pretty busy, so I went up there with the intention. I took all my camera gear. I went up there with the intention of getting a ton of media and
It
content.
happens, it
and
happens,
yeah,
it
just
happens.
so busy. It didn't
We
happen.
need a media person. It
We
just
seriously
does. Because we get so involved in something.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to do it
do. It
individually.
really
but,
is. You
but
know?
thank you for doing that.
Yeah, of
That's
course,
awesome.
absolutely.
We appreciate that. We've got some stuff from mail.
The mail time.
Mail call.
Yeah. I think we got 2 emails very recently. It's pretty awesome. You got those up? Bill?
Got it now.
All right. See if you can.
From Jordan Kepner.
Yeah.
Listen to your latest podcast, and I can't agree more. My wheeling buddy and I keep building our Jeeps. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't stop.
No.
Ever. Up and up and up. My JQR is now on Dana 60s and 40s, and not nearly as fun to drive. If I could, I would roll back to 37s.
What's stopping you? I mean, other than the fact that.
You already spent all that money.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not like Dana 60s go up in value.
No, they don't.
Especially after new rock scratches and.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
They
you
don't
can keep
necessarily
the
lose
60s.
value much, though, either.
Not much, but you're not selling it for what you got into it. That's for
True.
sure.
yeah, keep the 60s. Maybe put the 40s on a trailer and
Put 29s on it.
and put
The
29s
60s,
on.
yeah.
For your
Axle
daily
tubes are as
driver.
big as the tires.
Oh my
Yes.
God, that's great. Thanks, Jordan, for.
I mean,
for
37s on 60s is pretty much in like an indestructible combination.
That. Yeah. I mean, he's
You
on
can
40,
do anything.
So, and it's something to think about. Now, if you go from 37s to 40s with 60s, you're not losing, but you're not gaining as much ground clearance as you think either, because you
Right.
have a larger axle housing.
Yeah.
Something that Bill Eustace and I measured over at his shop, because he's on 44s and 39s, and I think there was only, if I remember correctly, there was only a quarter-inch difference between him and somebody that had 42s and 60s
Oh, really?
or something. I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
the details because it was kind of a quick out of the corner, like we just, but no, I agree totally. It starts to get really easy. I noticed that with the rock course. Like, there were people that were on, just some big stuff that just killed it, and there was no challenge to it. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you that the quickest Jeep, Willys. Like a 46, 47 Willys.
Yeah.
Small, nimble.
Just
Yeah.
bombed the course. I mean, just bombed it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that short wheelbase and narrowness.
yeah, and it's just, I mean, the simplicity of it.
Yeah,
the the fact that it's just, I mean,
Did it have a PTO on it?
no,
Ah,
And it's
damn.
not heavy at all. Those things
no,
are super light,
no.
so they're not
I mean, it's
crashing
just
down. Yeah.
made for that,
Yeah.
So
cool.
yeah.
All right, what about the one from Kyle G?
I got
You
that
read
one.
Kyle
You got
G.
that?
You want me to get it?
You got it.
I got it. I really enjoy listening to your show while I work. I just received my Firecracker Red 2022 Wrangler Rubicon 4xe.
That's what
Yes.
I want.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That is
sir.
what I want
Yes, sir.
right there.
Can I read
That
this fucking thing? Will you guys shut up for a second?
No.
God
Sorry.
damn it.
All right.
Having a Jeep.
I am
hard on.
wondering if you could do an episode on the best mods for the 4xe. I would also benefit on an episode on best mods for beginners. I eventually want to lift, rims, 35s or 37 mud tires, front and rear bumpers, winch, and a light bar. Thanks for your time. I also gave you guys a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts. PSA, a Jeep Life podcast sticker would look very good on my 4xe. I agree, Kyle G. It would
Yeah.
look awesome. We will get you one. I keep volunteering Terry's time out. We'll get it out to you ASAP.
Yeah.
So
Plus, you owe everybody else stickers, too.
4XEs are tough right now because there isn't many suspensions on the market for them yet.
Right.
Now, we were talking about that this weekend because
So-
there's such a disparity in weight.
Right. And it is a completely different spring setup. The shocks are pretty much the same. I've learned this among going from like the 2.0, the 3.6, the diesel. All the shocks are pretty much the same. It's the spring
Spring
constant
rates.
spring rate that they change to adjust for the weight.
Yep.
Difference.
So, and my understanding is the weight isn't very balanced in the 4xe, and they actually have different rates. I could be wrong on this because the source that I got it from, I don't know how reliable it was, but I heard it was the spring rates are different left to right.
Yeah, I think
they are.
The majority of the battery sits on the driver's side, I think.
Yeah.
And
Well,
So, but
actually, I've seen a 4xe battery set up. It's set right across.
It's set across it, but the module that cools it and controls it is on the driver's side, and
then the fuel tank and
right.
So like it's weird how it's set up.
Right.
Actually, I think it's the opposite of a normal Jeep. I think it's more distributed across, where a standard Jeep has a higher.
Yeah, I don't know
weight
how
on
accurate that statement was.
the passenger side.
yeah.
But I will tell you this: what I am seeing a lot of people doing is just budget boosts on them right now.
Yeah, and
Pucks.
they're just doing an inch and a half.
Well, they make there's who is it that I just saw? Terraflex,
Mm-hmm.
I think, has a 2.5-inch lift for it without spring, so it's just the pads that the springs sit in.
Yeah.
I would even say,
And
an
new
inch and a half or an inch,
And you can get
semi-leveling
35s.
kit. It's if JLs, you're gonna fit 37s.
Yeah.
And not
Well,
rub.
if it's a Rubicon,
Yeah.
because it's got the high clearance
Yep.
fenders, and if it doesn't, Quadratec now makes high clearance fenders.
Yeah, that are actually higher clearance than.
Are they really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like 3/4 of an inch over Rubicon
Wow.
flares.
Well done, Billy.
Yeah.
Well.
Look at
The
wasn't-
4xe is
yes, it was.
it is a different beast. Even some of the interior stuff for the 4xe is different
Yes.
than a regular JL.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Rear mats, the floor mats for the front work are the same as
Yeah.
a regular Jeep, but the rears are different. The trunk mat is different. The tailgate's the same, so all of your,
The tailgate
accessory
table and stuff
tailgate
like- yeah.
accessories are
Mhm.
going to work the same. Yeah.
all right, so here we have a live question
Okay.
that just came in from Dolph. Hey guys, I have a 2013 Jeep JK, and I've been told Friday that my front and rear axle is leaking. Do I need to just replace the seals on them, or is there more to it? It's not an easy job.
No, and I'm sorry. I was actually looking for the question. Read it again for me.
I've been told Friday my front and rear axle is leaking. Do I need to just replace the seals on them, or is there more to it?
No, it's so the front especially, you have to pull the carrier assembly out of it, which gets even in deeper if it's a Rubicon, because there's a switch in there.
Yeah.
To actuate it, the whole 9 yards. There's special tools to really put those in the right way, or you're going to at least need 2 people and some talent for the front. That's the front, and you got to disassemble the steering knuckles. You got to knock the unit bearings out. Axle shafts have to come out. It's not that easy. Rears are a little easier because they're outboard, so the fronts are inboard, meaning they're right by the center of the axle, right next to the carrier on either side. The rears are a little bit easier because they're outboard, or actually what you end up doing is pulling the retainer for the axle out. And
It's a pain in the rear.
Well, I think it's much easier than the front, though.
You just got to have a big enough press,
For what?
like long enough
For
to
the
press
front, you
off
mean?
that bear. No, the rear.
Oh.
To pull
Right.
like that, all the
Well, so
retaining
I don't
ring.
pull them all. I cut everything, and then I press it back on.
You
But-
still need a big enough press.
Well, but you don't. What I was going to say is a lot of people are saying they heat them. Heat them in an oven, and they'll
Oh,
slide right down on.
Mm.
So, if you don't have a
Sliding
press.
it
I
right-
happen to have a
sliding it
press,
right
so I use it. But
Yeah, right on. All right, well, that was the quick down and dirty from that. Thanks for
Mm.
that question right on the go. Hey, we've got some events coming up. We're going to be all over again. Where are we going, Bill?
Oh gosh, we are heading to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee for Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion.
Dude, could we just take a minute and not travel somewhere?
No, this is like
I know you've
this
been
is
dying
the
to-
holy. This is the going to. I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be a good trip. It's going to be a good trip.
It's like the pilgrimage
It is.
It really is.
to the sacred lands.
That's
I think
August
Terry just threw
25th
up in
to
his
the
mouth.
27th,
Probably
I
did.
think, right?
Yep, Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. And then right after that, we're actually going to be heading to Wind Rock Park, too.
Yeah.
Going to go spend a few days there hanging out with Marvin Stammel, Holly Fowler, some Factor 55, whole bunch of cool people.
Yeah. That's
Art-
pretty awesome.
RTR Auto Shop we're going to be hanging out with. A couple other guys that are going to be down there.
Nice.
I think Troy said if you go
He'll
to do
go.
the Badge of Honors, he'll
You know
go.
what? That's something
Yeah.
I really do want to do is
Yeah.
get some Badge of Honor trails under my belt.
So
Yeah, well, you
give
have,
me your phone and I'll
you,
like
you have
it.
To, you have to show
No,
up.
I want to legitimately do
You have
it.
to show up.
I've
Yeah.
done the what is it, Crawl Daddy at Roush?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I didn't.
You didn't,
You didn't tag it.
No.
You gotta get there.
Got to get there.
Gotta get there. Gotta get
Yep.
there. So, yeah. You
Go
want to
ahead.
go?
Go
You
ahead.
need to come.
You go.
You should come with us.
I might. I'm gonna try. I don't know what I'm doing.
Jesus.
See how it goes. I'll be like, you guys leave yet?
Depends where I'm sleeping at that night.
Okay.
Like if I'm in my apartment or sleeping out of the back of my Jeep or somewhere up north or on a train somewhere. I don't know.
Pete Torres's
Right.
Jeep. I don't
Pete
know.
Torres's Jeep. Him and I are spooning
Oh
in the
gosh!
back.
Right after that, it's same weekend, August 25th to the 28th is Ocean City, Maryland Jeep Week, and so
We're not
yeah,
going to be there.
We're not gonna be there. We're gonna
Yeah,
be
but you can still go there.
in Tennessee.
But the cool people are going to be in Tennessee.
Yep, absolutely. So in between that, actually, I think it's September 11th is Jeep Fest up in Walnutport.
Oh, is it?
Is that right?
I don't know.
So that's put on by Colossal Radio.
Oh, right.
And I thought we were talking about going up to that.
I don't know how.
Peter Torres, I got you, Don, blowing a heart.
Cool.
Peter and I are dating.
Awesome sauce. All right. Well, either way, the very next weekend, September 17th, is the Jeep Enthusiasts of Eastern Pennsylvania Fall Trail Ride up at AOAA. There's going to be some camping. There's some shenanigans. There's always a good time.
Well, I just was talking to a friend about that. It's like the shenanigan weekend.
It is always a good time.
Always.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, September 18th, is the 50 for 50 Tread Lightly Quadratec Trail Cleanup with Jeep Enthusiasts of Eastern Pennsylvania, Jeep Life Podcast, Go Fox Adventures, Quadratec. I think there's some other people that are going to be showing up for this awesome, huge cleanup at AOAA. So, and I think there's going to be some awesome giveaways as well. So that is September 18th. And then October 1st is Fall New Jersey Jeep Invasion in Ocean City, New Jersey, and that's on the boardwalk. So if you have not gotten your tickets for that yet, I think you're almost sold out, pretty much. So,
Yeah.
and then also there on October 1st is Creekside Farm Glow, East Berlin, Pennsylvania, and that's going to be the Jeremy Rowe event. So, we had him on the podcast. He sings, Jeep Girl, Jeep Thang,
Yeah.
whole bunch of other stuff. So, really cool. And then Bantam Trailfest is October 7th to the 10th, and that is Bantam Trailfest 2022. And then October 22nd is Boo at the Zoo, Creepy Jeep at Cape May Zoo.
Oh, that's a lot of stuff going on.
Danny, I don't know exactly if Reaper's going to have a spot. So if you know anybody that has a spot open for it, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are our events. Come see us.
Yeah.
Come see us. That leads us right there to our main topic, and we're not gonna make a stop for it. Oh, we are gonna stop.
Stop.
Damn it! Here it goes. I
Here it
was
goes.
wondering how we were going to make make this transition tonight.
Oh,
Stop it.
I literally had an over/under with some other people about how many dad jokes there would be.
Come on, let's take a break.
You really
That's 4. It's perfect.
All right, Dr. Don, take us to school on some brakes.
All right. So one of the topics we haven't talked about yet, really.
We
Not
haven't
at
spent
all.
a lot of time yet at all.
No,
Yeah.
no. So
Do you need them really?
Hell no.
No.
With all
Not
that
if you're a real
great
man.
power, you must stop.
Great G power, right?
Yes.
So brakes. Going to be a 2-part series. Tonight we're just going to talk about how
Shocking.
they function. How about it? Next week we'll talk about upgrades for it. So ultimately your brake system in its most simplest form uses friction to convert kinetic energy into heat. That's how it slows the vehicle down.
Yep.
And then dissipates that heat.
And then dissipates heat. So, and that's the deal with a lot of hybrids. We use regenerative braking. We actually take that energy instead of using brakes because we're losing
Mhm.
energy. We take that and we actually put the motor in generator mode, and then it captures that energy back. And we're not
Every
losing
motor's a generator, and every
then
generator's a
the
motor.
Right.
Just depends on which way you put the power in.
That's right. So basic parts of a brake system, you have your brake pedal and linkage. So actually that is a lever. So the brake pedal above that is a lever that looks almost like a pry bar welded to it or fastened to it, and it goes up to a pivot joint. But the linkage that pushes on the master cylinder, which is on the other side of the firewall, is attached below it. So it acts like a lever and gives you some...
It's a plunger.
It gives you some additional brake assist.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of that firewall is typically a brake booster, and there are 3 ways that we build pressure, vacuum, or power assist. The most common type is vacuum. So it has a diaphragm in it, and we actually apply vacuum to one side of it, which actually helps to pull on that diaphragm. That's the most common. Now, a lot of turbocharged vehicles are going to electric or electric pressure or electric vacuum, one of the two. And then the third way GM used for a while, a couple others that showed up here and there, Hydro Boost, which actually uses the power steering pump to create power assist. Now, in front of that sits the master cylinder. And in the master cylinder, it consists of 3 major components. It's got the reservoir, and then it has a primary and a secondary piston. If it's prior to 1967, it may only have 1 piston in it. After 1967, we were mandated to do split braking systems, which means that if you lose hydraulic pressure in one of the front brakes, that you don't lose it all the way around because it's got 2 separate systems basically that are split. It takes the one system and splits it in half.
You can still stop.
You can at least once or twice.
Somewhat.
The piston
Before you run out of fluid.
Yeah, the piston in the front is the primary. The secondary is the one in the rear. Both are connected to basically a connecting rod or dowel, so to speak, that goes out to the brake booster. Now, coming off of the master cylinder is your brake lines that go to, depending on what your vehicle you have, it's going to go to a proportioning metering valve or a combination valve or an ABS unit that does that stuff. So the proportioning valve, metering valve, basically what the metering valve does is it delays the brake application to the rear wheels slightly. Delays it to the front wheels. So it kind of evens out braking in the front and rear. After that, you have usually steel lines that go all the way down to the wheels, and then where the wheels and tires and the brake assemblies, the rotors, calipers turn, articulate, move up and down, we switch from a steel line to a rubber line. Now, before I go any further, make sure that if you're replacing brake lines, you're using a DOT-approved material. So, like, you'll see copper on a vehicle. No good. Can't hold the pressure. So copper splits. Stainless steel, something like that. And then the brake lines or the brake hoses themselves, you need to make sure are DOT approved. There's a lot of cheap stuff out there that you can buy that's steel braided or looks steel braided. It's not DOT approved. So after you get down to the brakes and rotors, you have a caliper. So it's another piston. The caliper holds the brake pads, and when you press on the brake pedal, you're actuating the linkage that goes through the power brake booster. So that linkage in the power brake booster actually is connected to that diaphragm. The diaphragm's it's got vacuum in there, so it's helping to pull it forward. It's got a return spring that pushes it back, but it's pulling it forward. You're pushing in the two pistons, which are now going to force fluid down through the lines, through the hoses, down to the piston and the caliper. And brake fluid is a hydraulic fluid, so it's not compressible, which means that you can't have whatever happens up top is going to happen down below. In a sense,
you push on a cylinder up top, and you're going to expand the cylinder on the bottom through hydraulic.
You're going to move it forward,
Yep.
to an extent. We'll get into how you can change that a little bit, and I'm not going to get in it real deep this week. It's going to be more important next week when we talk about modifying this stuff, Pascal's law. But ultimately, that fluid then pushes on the back of the piston, squeezes, and 90% of our Jeeps are single semi-floating calipers. Okay, so
meaning they only have the cylinder on one side.
Right. So the piston actuates the other side. It'll slide over. It's on a set of slides. It's a fixed caliper. It's on a set of slides. It moves over, and I said semi-floating. I'm thinking rear differentials. It's a fixed caliper. Piston slides in, pushes on the pad, and then it pulls the whole caliper over, which pulls the other brake pad over, squeezes the rotor.
It's like a vice.
Friction, right?
It only moves on one side.
That's a great analogy, right?
Yeah.
So a couple things why we're here. If you do service or you open up that hydraulic system, one note to make is to make sure that you bleed it. So every caliper has bleeders on them.
I've done a lot of that lately.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come?
Because I've had to replace every damn brake caliper on that buggy.
Yeah. It's disc in the rear, isn't it?
It's disc in the front and the rear.
Yeah. So,
and the truck, when I did the truck, brake calipers, and
yeah. So, basically, bleeding means is that it's a process used to get air out of the system. And the easiest, probably most effective way to do it is have your best friend come over, give him a couple beers, let him drink the beers, have him sit in the driver's seat. You make sure the reservoir is full with the proper brake fluid. So we've got .3, 4, and 5 brake fluid.
And 5.1 and 5.2.
Right. I'm not getting into all that. The most important thing is make sure you use the right stuff. Because if you don't, it can cause damage.
Really, I think all Jeeps take like .3.
.3.
.3.
Yep. So, or is it .4?
.3.
No, the JLs, I'm thinking. Are they .3?
Oh, JLs are, they
.4?
changed it.
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, like I said, I'm not getting into the differences in all of them and everything else. We certainly can, or we can answer questions on that later. I didn't think it was important because you just need to make sure you put the same thing in. Top the reservoir off. You have somebody pump up the brake pedal, but here's an inside secret. Do not push that brake pedal all the way down to the floor, especially on an older vehicle, because it tends to damage the seals in the master cylinder. So go about 3/4 of the way down, pump it up till it starts to feel a little firm. Hold it down. Guy outside says, hold. Person in the car holds the brake pedal down, opens up the bleeder. Start furthest from the master cylinder and work your way closest to it. And
furthest amount of line, that's like brake line, that's what we're talking about.
Right rear would be the first one. If you did brakes, if you had the system opened up all the way around, you would start right rear, left rear, right front, left front. Would be your bleeding sequence. And then you open that bleeder up, fluid's going to squirt out. While he's opening that up, person in the car is going to continue to push down on that pedal until you close the bleeder.
Then release.
And then release. And then I don't do pump it up again. I do hold. And you do that until you see no air coming out of the system. Really good way to do that. really professional way to do that, to make sure that you don't take air back in and see what's coming out, is take a piece of clear hose, put it over top of the Zerk fitting, or bleeder screw, really. It's not a Zerk fitting. And put the other end in some brake fluid, the same type
In
that
a
you're
cup
using.
or something. Yeah.
I use coffee cans, or work
Water
great.
bottles,
Yeah, that
Gatorade
works
bottle
great.
works really well.
And you can see the air coming through the line, and then if they accidentally do lift, it's bringing fluid back into the system, so you don't have to start over again. So that's kind of the process for bleeding brakes.
You might get all my bubbles out of the system, guys.
Master cylinders are a little bit different. So master cylinders have to be bench bled. So if you replace a master cylinder, that needs to be bench bled.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, it kind of can be, but basically what it is that before you install it, you're going to put on some lines that you either make out of, steel
Old
line,
brake
right?
line.
And you can flare them and put them on, and they have to go back up to the reservoir. You fill the reservoir, and you basically use a screwdriver in the backside of that master cylinder to actuate the pistons until you see no more air coming out of, bubbling up out of the reservoir for where the lines go in.
You just keep pumping it.
Right. So that's kind of the system. That gives you a little bit of background on the hydraulic side. We have brake warning systems, so usually that resides in the metering or the combo valve, is what most vehicles use. And it's called combo valve because it's partially proportioning valve, partially metering valve.
When you own a buggy, you rip all that shit out.
Brake warning system is just a way of telling you that you've lost pressure or your fluid level's low, and you get that red light in the inside. So usually it consists of the combo valve and the low brakes switch.
So I got a question for you, Dr. Don. As we're talking about all these brakes and stuff, and there's a few extra systems that are on the brakes as well. So we have ABS.
Right.
Now, do all Jeeps have ABS, or is that newer, or what is ABS?
So ABS was introduced in Wrangler, I believe, in 1997. So I think it was the TJ had a fairly basic system on it. But now JK, it got a little more complex, especially after 2011. So
actually, I'm gonna correct a little bit. Even in the TJ, they upgraded the system. I think in 2000 and in 2005 when they came out the LJ.
Yeah. But the TJ never had traction control.
No.
That it never had.
Correct.
So it was strictly ABS, anti-lock brakes. And so what the ABS system does is it monitors all four wheels for wheel speed. At least we're talking TJ up. And if you panic brake and it sees a difference in wheel speeds between the four wheels, it uses a set of dump valves that are used with hydraulic solenoids to release pressure where the wheel locks up. So that you can control skid the car. And also it shortens braking distance because you're not losing that friction. So once those wheels lock up, you're losing traction. So you'll actually see ABS, but newer ones you don't see it as much, but older ones you would see them spot on the road.
It basically
it
pulses your brakes for you.
So it uses a set of dump valves that do that, and what's usually called a hydraulic control unit, HCU. Yeah. But now when we got into JKs, we added traction control to it. And that's one thing that most people don't use, and a lot of people have misquoted and said, well, when you put it in 4-low, traction control is totally off. It is not.
Which is false.
Yes. They'll actually still work. They'll still use the brakes. And a lot of times people will get up on a rock and the tires start to spin and they back off right away. My thing always to them is don't floor it.
Just
because
ease
into it and just give the Jeep a couple seconds to figure out what
it's doing. It says ESC for ease.
Right.
Ease.
Right. Just let it
everything.
Let it eat. It'll figure out what it needs to do, and it'll kind of work its way through. If you're there for 10, 15 seconds and this thing isn't moving or doing anything,
don't stand on it. Or
obviously, it's probably not going to help it. But so we added a lot to that. We actually are able to limit throttle control because we want to drive-by-wire on JK. So we limit throttle control. The car will actually take throttle out of the vehicle to help the traction control work. We added roll mitigation after 2011 to it. So the JK, if you're flying around a corner like a maniac, like Terry, it'll actually, if it starts to see the steering angle sensor, if it uses an algorithm to figure out if you're putting in more steering angle than what the vehicle is turning, and it starts to see difference in speed and tires, it'll actually use the brakes to keep the vehicle from rolling over or sliding left or right.
I know for a fact that system has saved my life. 100%.
Yeah, I've used that already too, especially on wet roads. Like it.
Oh, jeez.
So
let's not talk about it.
Just wait till you have that limited slip rear. It's even more fun.
Oh my gosh.
No. So yeah, that's another part of it. And then the last part is the parking brake assembly. Do not call it an emergency brake.
Hold up. Sorry, backtrack. Limited slips trick that's your traction control system to think that your rear end, it always spins at the same time, even if the tires are slipping.
So what's cool about limited slips and
sorry,
no, it's
because you get them, but roasted.
You
going
can,
around
but it's not.
turds.
It's not. Your limited slip is much better for that than like what Terry and I are running, because the clutches can only hold so much, and then they become overturned.
Dumb.
Well, no, because you have a mechanical lock,
right.
So you're using a helical.
Oh, it locks all the time.
And so what'll happen is if you apply the brakes a little bit to that, and it'll actually even out the side load on it, it'll actually lock both of those on yours. Like if you ever get stuck, just pull the e-brake on a little bit, and it'll literally it becomes a locker. I mean, they're
I've noticed that because trying to go around turns, it chirps tires.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, with no problem at all. What I do have a problem in my limited slip will be overcome, like if I'm wedged, if I've got a tire wedged between two rocks, and I try to fool it into locking, it'll start to, you can feel it bump a little bit, and then it'll let go. The clutches start slipping. That's part of the reason why my fluid was black and burnt coming out of there, is from those clutches doing that. But yeah, so parking brake is the last part. Do not call it an emergency brake. It hasn't been an emergency brake since 1967. It is considered a parking brake. It is a completely separate actuated system from the hydraulic system, and that is in vehicle code. It has to be. So those have changed. In my notes, I have parking brake. You have a parking brake lever, and then you have cables, and then it usually actuates on some shoes or a lever in the caliper that applies the piston mechanically. But there's also a lot of vehicles that are using electronic parking brakes now. The new JLs are not, but there are a lot of vehicles that are actually using electric solenoids. Back at the and it sucks because if you try to drift with them,
so they're actually
there's no drifting. It won't let you.
It's not a solenoid. It's a motor and a gear setup that has.
No, some of them are solenoids. They'll actually just whoop. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
So a lot of the ones that I've seen
are motors on the back.
Motors on the back calipers. It uses a
Right.
gear system that basically just forces your piston out.
Yep.
Which also
General Motors uses
really cool thing. There is a company out there that has rear brake calipers that has a lever set up on it that you can connect a cable to. So on buggies, you can still have an emergency brake.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was talking
parking
about.
brake.
So that's what, like Mitsubishi, Chrysler did a lot of that. GM did a lot of that, and they actually have solenoids on there. So you could actually have electronic cutting brakes if you wanted to on them.
I have manual.
Yeah.
Valve body cutting brakes.
Manual valve body. Where's the valve?
It's right underneath.
No, I mean, where's the valve on you? You're the valve.
You're the
yeah, I'm the manual part.
You're the manual, right. So anyway, that's kind of how it works. Next week we'll get into Pascal's law a little bit, because it's something that's important to understand when you start to change the braking system.
Perfect for me to break it. I'm ready to break the law.
All right.
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to part 2. Just wake me up when it's done.
Time to go,
and we'll be we'll be ready to go. Thanks as always, Don. Dude, you kill it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Speaking of killing it, where can people kill it and listen to us?
head over to Linktree, linktr.ee/JeepLifePodcast, and that's going to get you hooked up with all of our links, but also you can hit us up on YouTube. Go subscribe. Watch at least 10 minutes of a video.
Yeah, do that.
Do it.
Do it.
Leave us a comment. Leave us a review. Also, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, all the aboves. You know, you're obviously listening to us right now. But so head over to Facebook, give us a like. Instagram, give us a like, a follow, all the above. Go subscribe on YouTube.
Do it.
Do
Do
it.
it now. Cool. It was awesome. It's so good to be back in the studio with you guys. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us and tuning in. Thanks for everybody that's live listening, including some of my favorite students. So thanks to those guys. Thanks to everybody. For Breaky Billy, Vagabond Don, and Jeep and Terry. Here's a big Jeep wave to everybody. Have a good night. Oh, all right. Thanks, everybody. Good show. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm really tired, so I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah, I saw you over there falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's like a call on you real quick, you know.
Yeah.
Terry, answer the question.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.